Place your bets at gg.bet. Most popular esports titles. Deposit with convenient payment options. Cool mini games. And 24/7 support for players. Sign up now for the best esports bets at gg.bet.
NRG wouldn't go down without a fight. While Vitality seemed to lose any fight they had within them, it was not enough to get it done, and we nearly saw a quadruple overtime come into play. Instead, it was just going to be a triple, as you got to say straight off the bat with Vitality, some stupid rounds that shouldn't have been lost, honestly there. ZywOo, once he comes alive, then they do finally fight back into it, but again, are we just relying too heavily on one-man Pimp?
It was a little bit weird game from Vitality, I would say. I think ZywOo had a slow start to the game, and then he all of a sudden, stepped up. But then he got into a period of the game where he was being too aggressive. He was making a lot of, forced entries where I felt like he must have felt, that he was the only one doing his job on that Vitality team. So he was forced into a position where he had to take more shots of the game that wasn't necessarily good for him. So in that aspect, I think Vitality struggled a little bit, building on the foundation I was talking about. They had four match points, I guess you could say, and missed all four. And in general, just a lot of misplays, a lot of situations where it could have gone their way. And overall, I gotta say, NRG didn't necessarily play too good. And if you're not able to beat NRG not playing on a full force on your own map pick, how's it gonna be a Mirage?
Exactly. I mean, oftentimes I'm billed as like the villain on these desks, and I feel like Vader because I find your faith in Vitality disturbing. Because the thing is, as a team, yes, you look at the names, of course they should be at least at the level of NRG, if not better. You even see ZywOo, by the time he comes alive, he gave them a chance to win this game.
Sure.
They took every one of those chances and threw them in the trash every single time. These guys can't close games out. It's amazing how, when they're in those like clutch situations, if I see RPK in a clutch, I get depressed, mate. Same as if Daps, by the way, on the NRG side's in a clutch. I don't expect them to win it. They just so often misplay. They don't seem to know some of the sound cues, where flashbang's coming from. Apex did an admirable job over this whole game. As we said, ZywOo did come alive by the end. I mean, he took the first 20 rounds off or so, but fair enough. He got going eventually, and you saw some of these kills were very vital to keeping them in the game. NRG, I have to say, on their side of the equation, nice T side all game long. You saw even in the overtimes. Obviously, their main problem was CT side. You're seeing a lot of passive play here. Look at all the position. They're always way back in the sites. They're letting you use your utility. They're letting you execute on the sites. And if anything, I think they're relying on fragging too much in this kind of a scenario. So they finally got the CT side when they were on overtime, but that was like, what, overtime 4, overtime 3?
Yeah.
It's too many at this point in time. Like, I would even agree. On paper, Vitality should have won this game. They made most of the best moves in the game. Sadly, a few misplays, a few failed executions late is what's cost them their map pick.
And it's not just about Vitality not playing up to standard either, right? We saw Cirque again able to frag out like he's been doing. This slump is certainly over if he can keep this up.
Yeah.
And then we look at a player like Breezy, who just goes phenomenal. 52 frags and a dream. This man was just pulling out the bag again and again.
That's what Vitality doesn't have.
Sure.
Because they have Cirque. He reminds me a little bit of ZywOo. Sure, ZywOo showed a little bit more recently, but they don't have the Breezy. Breezy's a player where you see all his frags, they don't even look that impressive until you see the scoreboard. That's not even a meme. Like, this guy will drop 30, 40, and they look run-of-the-mill, but if you can put those numbers up, if you can produce, and then you've got someone else who's a skilled player next to you, that's the combination.
It was regular as well, like 3 and 4Ks from Breezy, right? And like you were saying there, it doesn't have to be so flashy, but he's playing his role and playing very smart across the board here.
Definitely, and it's a player that has had a little bit of a struggle this tournament so far, at least compared to how he normally plays. So seeing him stepping up in a playoff when it matters the most, especially when your team is down and not really playing up to your best, another strong asset to this team. As said, I definitely agree with the sentiment that like, you have Apex as well dropping 40, but that's not going to be the same fashion as Breezy, right? He's more flashy, he's more entry fracking. They don't have that stable rifle player to come in behind ZywOo and drop those 50 frags when needed in a quadruple overtime.
Now, going into Mirage, is this going to be a scary sign for Vitality? Because first of all, right, you look like you could have potentially closed this out. I feel like even if they can try and match them frag for frag and pound for pound, even if ZywOo has a good game, I honestly feel like we're just going to see a position for Vitality now where they're just kind of dropping off here, because you could see once these overtimes got rolling, it was NRG that felt more confident here. They just kept fighting, while I'd say Vitality dropped off.
Luckily, the map actually, just as what ended up Vitality did to NRG, which is like, listen, we're going to pick a map. Turns out actually you can play. Luckily, they've done the favor in return. Like Mirage is definitely a map we've seen the Vitality guys playing, be decent enough on. The problem is I kind of agree with that sentiment there. If this game becomes a DM and it's about fragging, I'll take NRG all day long. I like their lineup man for man in that sense. It nearly always is ZWoo plus who.
Yeah.
That's it. It's Woo plus who. In this scenario, it was Apex, almost got it done. Sometimes it's NBK. It's almost never RPK, but whatever. I guess he's not really required to do that at this point in his career. That's the tough part for me. I mean, again, you look at this here. Sure, he had a really bad game early on, but he was giving them so many rounds towards the end that were almost gifts. It's like, here we go. We're right back in the game. We're at match point, and they could never close.
And this is it, right? There's only so much you can rely on one player. We talk about Simple being that player that can change things around, but you also have to have the team behind you. And I don't think it's fair to just criticize ZywOo for having the slow start, right? Because, as you said, he came back into it. So what else do Vitality need at this point? Does he just need more than one other player to step up alongside him?
It's fairly simple. They need to win the clutch situations, and especially on a map like Mirage. We saw them over and over again during the major play Mirage against teams like Na'Vi. They played against Big as well. I think they won against Big and they lost in a quadruple overtime against Na'Vi as well, but they lost all their clutches. Every time it gets down to a 2 versus 2, a 1 versus 2, or those like close quarter scenarios, they seem to lose them all for some reason. So the opening of the rounds, ZywOo is always going to be hard entry fragging. He's always going to be taking a lot of space and making it easier for the guys of NBK, Apex, and Alex for that matter as well. But when you get into those later stages of the rounds, you've got to be able to close it out. And I think you said it a few times as well, Duncan. If you can't close out the rounds, it doesn't matter how well you start them out. And that is a big problem for Vitality.
Yeah, and one of the reasons why that's so troubling to me for them as a squad is, right, okay, I know people are going to think it's a meme, like, oh, Alex is from the UK. He's more French than he's UK. If you ever talk to him, like, he absolutely knows what he's talking about in that team. You hear him speak fluent French. They've stuck with this whole angle of we have to have French culture, French team. Like, we're not going to go with outsiders. So that's where you'd want the comms to be the best. That's where you'd want people to be at their tops. Like in that one round, which I think was the most painful round I've seen in the game, not the one where NRG won the USP, the round where Daps played the 1v1 of all time versus RPK, where both players managed to completely misplay it and someone had to win. On that round, okay, Daps made a very weird mistake where when he was coming in off an angle where you couldn't know where he's coming from, he flashed, where obviously that's like a face it mistake there where it's like, oh, you just told him where you are though. You watch RPK's POV, RPK still didn't know where he was. So again, how good can the comms be in a team like that when 4 of your teammates are dead? They're watching your screen. They're surely commenting. He's over there and you don't know still. So that's going to be a very worrying sign if you want to talk about using your experience to close the game out.
Communication is the key to success, and they're certainly going to have to step it up when it comes to that going into Mirage. But it's time for us to go into a break, and when we come back, you'll have Harry and Vendetta delivering potentially the last map in this best of 3. The question is, can Vitality change it and take us to a third?
Place your bets at gg.bet. Most popular esports titles. Deposit with convenient payment options. Cool mini games. And 24/7 support for players. Sign up now for the best esports bets at gg.bet.
Cool, right? Want to know where I got it? Well, look, go to cs.money. It's a trade platform and a marketplace at the same time. Just choose, click, and get. Good luck, bro. I'll take that. Yes. Hells yes. Oh, armed and dangerous. Oh, hell yes.
Hellcase. Update and new features in the case battles. Updated and convenient interface with new options. Up to 4 users can participate in one battle now. Create and customize your battles, any number and any type of cases. Choose the number of participants and invite your friends with a unique link. Watch the best drop and win everything. Don't miss epic battles on Hellcase.
MBK from Vitality joins me to chat about their experience of the group stages. So MBK, are you happy with the team's performance from the past week?
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, going through to the playoffs is already quite good for our team because we came into the tournament not really expecting anything. And yeah, I mean, top 8 already, and now it's just going to be game by game, and it's just 3 best-of-3s to win, so it's doable. But yeah, so far so good.
How did you prepare for this tournament? Because I know that you've been playing so many online matches before you got here. There can't be time, surely.
Right, yeah, no, there is a prime of time. There's only 24 hours a day, especially being brought into the tournaments with such late notice. We all had to travel to take like 2, 3 or 4 days to travel to go do and get the visas back. So that also took a big hit in our preparation. So yeah, we don't have exactly what we want coming into China, but we have the basis with our team, and we wanted to fix some stuff that we didn't really have time to really go through. But we're just coming in and playing with our hearts more than anything else, because that's the only thing we can do at that point. If we don't have the practice that we wanted, then we're just going to have to improvise as we come into the games, and that's pretty much what we've been doing. I mean, those Inferno games that we played, for example, are just showing that it's not much practice, but it's just playing very simple and climbing the rounds one after the other, pretty much.
If you had more time, how would you typically practice?
We would use practice to really check what is missing in our game. So, for example, we have struggles on T-side and Nuke, Inferno as a whole, Mirage as well. We've been trying to fix some stuff, but it didn't really go that well so far. And that would be pretty much it, because we need our map pool to be better, and so that would be mainly what we work on, and that's pretty much it. Fixing our map pool, and I think individually when we're awake and ready, then we can show up pretty well, and our mentality is good as well. So it's all about not making mistakes while we actually play Counter-Strike.
And you can hear when Vitality are confident, because when they're playing in their LAN, they shout, "Allez!"
Yes.
Now, very quickly, before we wrap things up, NRG first in the quarterfinals.
Yep.
What is your expectation from that match?
It's quite hard to say, because their map pool is actually pretty strong, in the sense that they play all 7 maps and they all play them on a decent level. So it's hard to really pick something and be 100% confident that we're going to beat them on that one. It's going to, again, be up to us to raise our level to beat them, because they're not going to give us the game away. And I think it's going to be very explosive, because that's the way both our teams are. They're very fast-paced, grouped, and we're also kind of that way. And so I think it's going to be an interesting clash. I haven't played them for a very long time, if ever. And yeah, no, it should be a tight game. I don't expect it to be a blowout for either team, but it should be good.
Well, thank you so much for talking to me, Nathan. Bon chance.
Thank
And
you.
we'll find out what happens when Vitality face NRG in the quarterfinals.
Hello and welcome back. The second map about to be underway, Halvor, and it's Mirage. Obviously, that's the map pick of NRG. We just saw them in a very lengthy triple overtime game over on Overpass, take the W over Team Vitality. So now they're sitting 1-0 up in the series. How are you feeling about this one now, looking to the future, both for Team Vitality and for NRG?
I mean, for Vitality, obviously you have the downside of now you're going into NRG's map pick, which is obviously never a good thing. But it's not the the olden days where it's a French team on Mirage is like unknown territory for them by any means. They also have the fact that they come out of that game as close as it was without really having ZywOo being that much of a factor for a large part of it. I think that's things you can expect to change going into Mirage as well. But you would kind of lean towards NRG being the favorites as we get going with the second map. Just off of the fact that Breezy had a fantastic performance to start us off. Same thing can be said for Ethan, even though he didn't obviously live up to the exact same standard that Breezy did. But yeah, like the individuals on NRG seem to be showing on the server. So I think that's very good for them going into their own map pick.
Yeah, I mean, as Breezy looked, more switched on than our producer's microphone is right now. So, yeah, I mean,
Knife round getting underway.
Now, sides don't matter half as much on Mirage, but, if, there you go, Team Vitality able to take it. So I'm curious to see which side we see them start over.
I'd imagine CT.
Yeah, usually, you go for a CT side start.
Ease into it, right? That's all you want. But they might throw a bit of a spanner into the works. We never know. In any case, though, they do get freedom to choose. And, yeah, they're going to opt for the CT side from the looks of it. So, ease into it. I think that's going to be great. Again, saw a lot of comments, again, on social media. Obviously, ZywOo is naturally enough, I guess the point of interest for a lot of people watching. People are commenting on the fact that he was doing uncharacteristic mistakes or making uncharacteristic moves in that sense. I think it was Smuya who pointed out the fact that he was much more so, in this game rather than normal, actually taking unnecessary aggression, doing it in situations where he couldn't necessarily get a trade for himself if he were to go down. All those kinds of things. And the fact that he's also very aware of it whenever he makes mistakes, right? So if that all of that comes together, and ZywOo's kind of corrected his wrongs in that sense, that's a really good sign for the French. But here we are, underway.
Yeah, and it's looking like it's going to be the fast B play, the matchmaking classic. This nade finds so much damage onto NRG. This push continuing to come on in. A Team Vitality holding their own right now. They still have 3 players here. They did stack the B-bomb site. Alex tries to play the trigger discipline. And he might come to regret that. MBK suddenly thrust into what was a 1v3. Now turn 1v2 as he does drop that first man. Looking to try and find a little bit more here. Does have the kit to work with as well, and a smoke grenade at that. The lack of armor is what's going to be punishing here for NBK. Ethan just checks him, and now they get the information. They know exactly where he resides. They're looking to try and take this fight and win it. Double peeking into it, and Ethan cements the second. The pistol round goes the way of NRG. They're going to move 1-0 up as they find the pistol on their map pick.
So while Overpass was very much back and forth, a scrappy affair, it'll be interesting to see whether either of these teams are going to be able to get a bigger streak going, pretty much, because it was so much trading, teams winning out buys that they probably shouldn't have too much success with, and so forth. NRG winning that pistol, looking to get on to the right start. Bit of a shooting gallery in mid there. Cirque being able to find the first 2 before Alex actually is able to return with the USP as well. So actually significant amount of damage being done here with only pistols on the side of Vitality. MVK down to 1 HP, but still a chance here for Vitality. They haven't been able to pick up any weapons as they're dropped in top mid. MVK on a bit of a scavenger mission will get picked off. Dabs as he makes his way out on A. He actually gets found out as well by ZywOo. He's in a 1v1. He doesn't have any armor, but again, all you need is 2 well-placed bullets. That could be the difference maker. Ethan where the window positions. I was going to rotate quickly over towards Kitchen. Actually decides to go back here. He would have had the correct read. Now he gets confirmation at least as to what's going on. Ethan actually planning open for Kitchen here. Be a bit risky, but he's going to be able to handle the pressure. So 3K for Ethan. What was a pretty costly affair for NRG there. A lot of mileage out of those USPs on the side of Vitality, so they can be really happy about that. Now we're going to see that third round buy from the French.
Yeah, but you can see that this third round buy certainly has its limitations. You can see you don't even have the ideal rifles across the board, right? You've got RPK taking that FAMAS so that he can don that much more utility. And critically, there's no kits here for Team Vitality. Also a severe lack of head armor, and this makes those few Galils still up over on the side of NRG effectively into AKs, right? Without the increasing cost. MBK holding close to connector. Does have Apex over in the window. Smoke down there right now, so nothing transpiring down in mid. NRG just sitting pretty with full mid control. They'll take that in their stride, and now the smoke falling up top con. This is going to allow Daps and the rest of the gang to push into this avenue of the map. But lying in wait on the other side will be this crossfire between MBK and Apex.
Daps going to move away as soon as the smoke fades, and actually gets dropped on as well. Frag going the way of Vitality, and it's also started the push towards the B bomb site. Not really panning out for NRG here so far. Weezy has found one, but still French holding pretty decently. Cirque has made his way out. Balcony finds two there. That's Alex and Apex gone. Actually, why not make that a third? There you see the lack of head armor really just making that Galil real fearsome. Now he's picked up a Nog as well. So he's made it out though. Good spotted. Not able to connect the trade, so Tarek's going to finish him off. NRG looked like a pretty rough start to that round. Luckily for them, the Bulgarian Beast is able to claw them back in. Very nicely done. And again, you mentioned it. Not having head armor could be a big factor, and it definitely turned out to be.
Yeah, this is why, you know, for me personally, I've never really been a big fan of going for that third round buy, especially on the CT side. I feel like T side, you can stomach the cost, right? You get the AKs, the armor, everything's a lot cheaper. So as a result, you know, you do have the utility behind your buy as well. You're just limited in terms of the AWPs that you can bring to the board. Yeah. But CT side, I mean, you saw the buy there, right? There was no kits. RPK was the man donning a lot of the utility, and what that means is if you lose him, you know, you've lost the whole utility belt. And yeah, obviously then there's the lack of head armor as well, which when you consider NRG and any team over on the T side of things would almost definitely be running the bonus round into that third. It really does kind of amass to becoming a pretty horrific situation to be in, considering, you know, that's been the thing that you've banked on securing you around. Now MBK able to open things up this time around. Naiwu does get dropped in the meantime. One by one, they are mopping up the remaining players for Vitality, so NRG. Okay, they lose Daps, but on the back of it, they recover, they keep things clean. 4 players staying alive means that money is made for this T side. But now we get to see a buy for Team Vitality, and it's going to be, you know, a good one. And it looks like it, right? Zaiwu, he's taking some time to buy. He's got cash for it, but no. MBK.
Are they going to swap it over, or does MBK have a spawn?
Yeah, because I'm looking at it. It doesn't look like he has a spawn right now.
Apex going to throw out the top mid smoke, so we might see some aggression here coming in from the Frenchies. Exactly what we're seeing here. Zaiwu down in mid. Fine Tarek, but then slowly burns to Zerk. Not before MBK has been able to get a return at least, so aggression pays off, but Breezy's really put the pedal to the floor. He's already out on beat. Deals with RPK in a brilliant manner as well. All of NRG have made it out here. Taps actually netting a frag as well with that MAC-10. Alex taking a bit of damage from that Molotov too, but Taps probably not expecting this. But the smoke just gives him enough cover.
Now the 1v1, MBK knows that Ethan's here. One shot is all it takes. And Vitality, they will salvage this round, albeit by the skin of their teeth. NRG lose that one there in the 2v2, and it is on the back of that little push-in from Alex. You know, he gets all the information from it. He gets them back into that round. And MBK is able to finish things off. So
he is. So it's a round on the board for now for Vitality, but then you look at what they have to buy up with, right? MBK surviving as the sole survivor, that's never a good sign for a CTE side. It's going to drop off one weapon, but where do you go from there? Not really. Again, you talked about these the third round buy we saw, not a lot of utility, or you like head armor, diffuse kits, utility. It's not the prettiest of buys on the side of Vitality, and then you look over on NRG. They've got 4 AKs, they've got nades, they've got an AWP on Cirque as well. And MBK actually still just holding on to that AWP. ZywOo on an MP9 for now.
I don't know about you, but I'm still left questioning the fact that MBK is still the man playing with the AWP here.
Yeah. Bit of an interesting choice. Then again, he did clutch out the previous round, so maybe just letting him go with it if he's feeling it right now.
Well, yeah, that's the curious thing, right? It does make you wonder, is this a call from ZywOo to want to give the AWP over? Maybe he's not feeling it right now, or is it the fact that MBK maybe called for it and is?
For now, though, they have MBK playing as the sole defender of that B bomb site. So pretty hefty presence over towards Zave. Mid control given up. So, as the opening frag as well, Breezy, who's had such a stellar performance. Over and over pass. Continued good form, but look at Alex in connector to follow up on the first initial frags. Just getting mowed down here. ZywOo, is he going to be able to escape? Cirque goes chasing. Not going to be able to win out the fight either, so successful follow-up round for Vitality, even with a less than ideal buy. MBK didn't even have to be put into the test of things. Just breezing by while his teammates clean up everything. 4-2, still in favor of NRG though.
Yeah, make no mistake, but this is very much, Vitality's means of getting back into this. All the pieces of the puzzle kind of falling into place in that round there. They keep things relatively clean, and now they have a chance to pick up a third and do exactly that. Build some money. Start to get that bank rolling. It is just the 2 Deegs and a PT50 for NRG in this round. Likelihood is maybe see them take this default early on, push and prod, see if anyone from Vitality gets a bit over aggressive, and then perhaps just commit down in towards one of these bomb sites. Already, Dap's going to show his hand here at B. And Tarek actually has deeked down Alex, so RPK, blink of an eye, the only man here. And you see what this has done, right? They hear the footsteps of B. They've lost the body here now, and so they have to rotate players into this bomb site. ZywOo left alone on A, but he's not fooled. He drops Breezy. And this round, while it was looking like NRG could have found something, a bomb plant at the very least, that's now been stripped away from them. Ooh, okay. Taps him with one, maybe too soon. As spot him out, the bomb is going to now go down for NRG. Team Vitality not able to deny that. So that's money made for NRG. That's pretty much all they hope to get out of this round anyway. Anything else is just a bonus. And Ethan, with just a Glock, not going to happen. It would have been the 1v3 of a lifetime, but no. Team Vitality picking up a third round regardless. That is still a very good round for NRG.
Oh yeah, that's more than they bargained for sure. I mean, even with how weirdly the round plays out as well, right? It's not intended that they're obviously going to end up at B. Tarek just happens to find an opening there. You can see the bomb being all the way over towards that A site. At that point, you think to yourself, well, it's going to be too much of a rotation time for them to get a bomb plant down. So, congrats on the kill, but that's all you're getting. Somehow, they managed to actually bring it back to bomb plant an actual 3 kills. So, what you talked about, making money on the side of Vitality, not going as well as initially hoped. NRG just get that much of a stronger buy as well. Cirque donning the AWP. Has armor as well to boot. So we see the top mid smoke coming out from the Frenchman, but no aggressive push this time around. Still MBK just donning that AWP.
player ramp, and now he's locked in this fight with Daps. He just keeps on taking it. You know, in the back of his mind, is very aware that there could be another player close, so he decides to give it up, just drop that smoke. Neither player able to capitalize on that duel, and now they're pushing towards mid. MBK, I don't think he spotted that Breezy gets across. The flashbang just affects him a little too much there. Breezy's presence down in top mid will go unnoticed for now. The rest of NRG grouping up in the apartments, looking like they want to try and hit this B-bomb site.
Looking for Vitality, though. They do have 2 players on the site. Pretty grouped up as well. Smoke goes down from Alex.
Alex in with 2. Tarek up on short, but RPK trades things out. Cirque missed shot, uncharacteristically so, and only 20 seconds on the clock here. They have to pick up the pace. ZywOo has began his rotation, joining up with MBK and RPK, and one by one the bodies fall. Team Vitality tying things up 4-4. And you know, while it might have been a blinding start from NRG at these rifle rounds, they've looked a little flat. It has been Team Vitality coming out very much ahead.
It definitely has, and it's not necessarily off of the back of Vitality doing something crazy. It's not off of, I guess, unorthodox aggression or wild pushes in that kind of a way, but it's been measured from the Frenchmen, much more so than what we saw in Overpass. On Overpass, it was constantly just a battle to get rounds early on in the game. This time it feels like it's more going to be on NRG to go through that struggle. So, actually, okay investment on the side of NRG as well. They've got an AK on Tarek here. Well, this doesn't seem like it might do all that much, as Vitality mop them up. That's a flawless round. It's definitely what they needed as well. Again, when we saw them taking pretty significant losses versus, well, just pistols, that can always come back to haunt you later on in the game. But being able to fend off, you know, that kind of an investment from NRG so easily, it's a sign of good things for the French.
The worrying thing for me, you know, not even within the context just of the results of this game, but the results of the whole tournament for either one of these 2 teams, is just that, you know, both of them, right? You think about how they played throughout, you know, the path to get here. Obviously, we had Vitality with wins over the likes of ENCE, for example. You know, that's kind of a big victory
Pretty
for
impressive,
them.
yeah.
NRG, they did it reasonably cleanly as well. Well, you know, they take wins versus the likes of MIBR, Big, North. You know, we see them looking good, and I think we can agree that both of these teams, you know, we definitely felt like they had some potential here, but right now it feels like it's pretty flat on either side of things. You know, it doesn't feel like we're seeing them at their best. I don't really feel confident that I could say this would be the NRG or the Team Vitality that wins this event.
Well, they still have some things they need to figure out, but as of right now, Vitality seemingly have figured out their CT sides for the time being. That's 5 rounds in a row for them. We'll see if actually NRG has anything to come up with here, though. Full buy on the side of NRG. Aggressive positioning from ZywOo. He's done this a couple of times already. There's no real presence, though, on the side of NRG towards that A bomb site. 1 player in spawn, that's Ethan. Holding off any sort of potential pushes. And again, mid control is going to be the name of the game. And Vitality, for the better part of it, outside of the aggressive mid push they had initially in the first buy round, they've been happy to give this up. Oh, did Alex hear it? He has an inkling that somebody's there.
Oh, we saw the feet, but I don't know if he did. You know, smokes are a bit finicky. Most definitely, but as it starts to fade, Alex, yeah, he does seem aware of the possibility that someone could have been boosted. He'll just float around in the window for a little bit longer, but the question now becomes is how much longer does he stay here? Because it's whether or not Alex is able to keep tabs on this flank from Tarek that decides the outcome of this round, or at least that's almost what it feels like, right? Even if they deal with Daps and Connector, if they're not ready for Tarek on the follow-up, then this could all fall apart for Team Vitality. And as Alex's attention gets drafted in towards the Connector, they do deal with Daps. This has opened a gap for Tarek, and he's looking to try and exploit it. In the meantime, the rest of the crew trying to hit the A-bomb site, but that's it. Bombs drop, no time, and this fight from Tarek Even though it materializes, MVK still able to shut him up, and that will be Team Vitality 6-4. They put a lot of weighting once again on the flank to NRG, and once more, as we saw back on Overpass a couple of times, it actually leads to their demise there.
Yeah, again, Tarek deciding to opt for the long flank instead of just going through jungle, just being an immediate part of the attack. Makes things, again, feel flat. On the side of Energy, I think it would have been much more effective going through jungle. I thought that was the initial plan as well. Again, have Dabs take immediate attention from you, smoking it off, etc. It's very unlikely that they're going to be expecting a player, like a T-side player coming out of jungle at that point. Vitality deal well with it though. That's why they're sitting on 6 rounds. Energy back to a bit of a half investment. Pistols, armor, a couple of flash and smokes. Boosting up Tarek once more. This time it's Apex over towards CPL. We saw Alex showing a fair amount of patience. Let's see if Apex can do the same. Alex. Apex will actually go down to Tarek, so this time go for the long rotate, pan out. It's an opening towards jungle. And, well, it's a retake setup initially from Vitality, so this could be a bit of an issue.
That's doing a good job of keeping 2 players at this B bomb site. Look at how much attention he's drawn away from this push over at A. NRG, though, they might have, they might have just big brain themselves here, trying to go for this rotation as they're into the Moors. Not only of ZywOo, but this allows this 2-man hold that Daps worked so hard to hold at that B bomb site. Ooh, it's going to be effective.
This is a quick one.
I mean, you're kind of left scratching your head a little bit there, right? They get the territory over towards jungle, so maybe you understand, why they try and collapse in toward B. But Dabs, would have almost definitely called. There's 2 players inside of B with only 3 left up. You imagine they just take that fight with ZywOo and CT. They know where he is.
That's math even we can do. So, yeah, I absolutely agree. Not really sure what they're going to do. I mean, once they get through, obviously, the vents there towards kitchen, I mean, you're stuck with pistols. That's the least favorable place to be stuck with a pistol. I mean, you're going to have long-range fights to take, both directions, more or less. And also just the fact of getting through kitchen versus an already set defense. It's not going to be easy, but this is a way of combating that. Then finds the first one with ZywOo. So quick with the trade, pushes aggressively into Abs, and he's going to be a nuisance. He's actually going to run through. He's going to join them with that push. Actually finds Tarek as well, but gets traded out by Breezy. This is a very aggressive move from the youngster. But at least it has kept Energy away from planting a bomb, and they haven't really been able to push forward. Smokes are gone. They don't really have anything else to replenish it with either. That's a big issue. How are they ever going to get a bomb plant down in this kind of a scenario? Vitality just playing it cool for now. Not interested in barging onto the side and actually giving them an opening. Eventually, though, I mean, we're 45 seconds left. Energy needs to do something.
Yeah, I mean, this is the problem, right? As you highlighted, the utility's gone, so they're just left hoping that someone from Team Vitality eventually probes this area of the map just to see if NRG are still here.
They have 1 flash. Maybe that could be the deciding factor. Well, there we go. That's the probing done. Cirque finds the opening. RPK still in a good position to deny a bomb plant. He's also going to go down. Not the most necessary fights being taken by Vitality right now, and that's going to leave them with a bomb plant. Nade just a little bit too late. He does know Breezy is stuck under there. How far or how long is he going to stick with this? Actually smokes it off. Okay, wants to section off the pit, but Stark already made the rotation over towards Firebox. So yeah, Vitality more or less just make the only mistakes that they shouldn't do to actually give Energy a bit of an in that round.
Yeah, so a 5th for NRG.
A much needed one as well, considering the fact that that was 7 rounds in a row for Vitality leading up to this point. Definitely needed to get into it. Can still salvage a pretty decent T-side though, even though it's been very much about the Frenchman up until this point.
Yeah, and this is one of the things that we highlight. If you go 7-0 down at this scoreline, if you're NRG, you're buying now to the end of this game. least have that to fall back on, and that might be the only comfort they have in this round. As already Breezy and Cirque both dropped. ZywOo, quick double from him, triple in total. And Team Vitality straight back with another round, a clean one at that. This set piece that NRG tried to throw in, all just, you know, all falls apart, to be honest with you. I mean, even gaps in the smoke that you noted for Team Vitality to exploit. It just feels like, you know, especially in comparison when you think back to Overpass, you think about how kind of, we really saw a resurgence from NRG in the latter stages of that game, right, to actually pick it up. It feels like they're back to square one here on Mirage.
Having a bit of an engine trouble. Start off, I mean, all things considered, the fact that they're sitting at 5 rounds with the issues they've had, the fact that none of their executes have really seemed that crisp. They're, I guess, basic mid control. I mean, as much as they've gotten mid control, necessarily haven't been able to do all that much with it. Could have been a lot worse, but not exactly too well. Breezy, all right, down to 1 HP, still alive, at least for the time being. Again, going back to the boost. And Tarek is, well, 1 for 2 in terms of success rate here. Luckily, though, look at this. The opening found on that B-bomb site. Bomb down on site. Now Vitality is going to get put on the clock. Alex might go actually undiscovered. Instead, though, flank from Tarek. Definitely give him an approved one there on the flank. Much better timing there than what we saw the first time around. Even though he's not able to find ZywOo. Kind of gets the confirmation that Vitality have given up on the round. Now it remains to be seen if Vitality can actually hold on to it, or if there's actually any real interest on the side of NRG to keep hunting for this. I don't really have too much money on their side. Just want to make sure that they have everything they need going into the last round of the first half.
And I'm really getting some very Overpass feels already, you know, like it was a good start from one team and then the other grinds back a bunch in a row.
Yep.
And now we see it, you know, flip-flopping a little bit towards the end of this first half. Obviously, first half of Overpass ended 8-7 as well, so there's a potential for history to repeat itself here.
Yep, might get 3 overtimes as well. As we see Vitality taking the tactical pause here. They want to round out the first half as well as possible. And one thing that is going the way for Vitality is the fact that we're seeing ZywOo being much more active here from the get-go. 15 frags to his name. Not quite the same half as Apex had, but you definitely take that. And it's been without the op as well. I mean, MBK has been opping here on the CT side of Mirage. A little bit of a surprise for us. It remains to be seen if that's going to be the case as well when they go over to that offensive part of the map. No ops. Well, speaking of ops, none of them to be seen actually on the entire server. Cirque not being able to buy into that. Daps probably could have dropped it, but yep, they want to keep it looking easy. And MBK with the aggression in underpass and ZywOo over towards A finds 2 opening frags for Vitality.
And I think now, you know, if you're NRG, you're looking at this, they haven't been fighting in mid, they haven't been giving anything up. So the AWP really does kind of, you know, not really fit into how Vitality have been countering this mid-aggression. Breezy now thrust into the 1v5. Okay, he's able to fight MBK, but the issue is he's sent the beacon up, and now they know exactly where he is. Alex going to peek into it. Team Vitality, it's going to be a 9-6 half in their favor on their opponent's map pick. For those of you who are just tuning in at the end of this first half, well, you missed a very long, very back-and-forth first map. We saw NRG take it. They sit 1-0 up in the series after taking Vitality's map pick.
That was a real cage fight on that first one. A little bit more difference between the team here. I'd say Vitality definitely having the momentum of the map so far.
And now, moving into that T side, they're going to get to set the momentum, right? They get to set the pace, and that's going to be one of the things for me. I want to see them, you know, go back to playing a bit more of the no respect T side that we saw back on Overpass.
Now, a lot of sudden bursts we saw there, especially towards that B-bomb site. Might see something similar coming out of ZywOo and the likes. Right now, though, I mean, considering so much of this half is, well, on the side of NRG has been off of the fact that they won pistol, it is a bit of a worry. You know, you do wonder what happens if they're not able to pick it up here in the second half. Vitality get off to a potential 9-6 lead. If that ship might have sailed already for a potential comeback. Doesn't seem like Breezy's going to be able to drop 50 again. That is a bit of an issue. We haven't really seen too much, I guess, the usual suspects on this side of NRG, at least not in the same kind of fashion as we're used to.
Ooh, I like this. The double push from Tarek and Ethan. They hear this B-side play coming in, and they're going to be very fast on the flank. The issue is NRG, they were set up for the retake for this B-bomb site, so it's a 5v5 as the bomb goes down. And now you're looking to Tarek and Ethan on this fast wrap to just blindside Vitality with the sheer speed that they've gotten here. And it does net them 2 openers. Ethan in with one, Daps on another, and it's Alex. Blink of an eye. 1v5 required, and he gets just pincered onto. So this time around, they put a lot of stock in that flank, and it does prevail. You know, it does materialize. Ethan with 3 crucial kills from the apartments.
That was a perfect call. Perfect counter call to what Vitality was doing. Again, as you said, they were set up for the retake already. They're happy to give up the bomb site because they have that quick double flank. And I mean, even if you don't find, you know, as much success as Ethan does there on the flank, just the fact that you have presence from apps so early on is going to scramble Vitality and allow for the rest of the players coming in from Kitchen to actually get out on the bomb site and give the CTs a pretty significant advantage.
Yeah, right, because usually, you know, if you're going to have a player coming in on the B-Apps flank, while it is a strong position to have to draw the attention away, the limitation to it is the very long rotation time to get there as a CT. And you can see Vitality, they just were not prepared for 2 players to be in the backline so fast. You know, most importantly, so silently as well. Ooh, MBK with the Deagle able to crack open this A-bomb site. Ethan in CT, though, looking to try and hold back Team Vitality. And let me tell you, they are barred from this A-bomb site. Ethan, he's not serving them today. And Alex, yeah, he gets dropped. NRG 8-9, but it's buy time for Team Vitality.
Cheeky little one-tap from Ethan. So in the span of 2 rounds in the second half, he's netted himself 7 kills. That's how you get going. That really is the kind of skill that these NRG players possess as well. Like, they don't need a lot to get going, but once they do, they're really hard to stop. Now, though, see what Vitality have in store. Definitely a better buy than what we saw in terms of the 3rd round buy on CT side, as we talked about. Not the most scary things in a lot of scenarios. 2 from losses to the name of NRG as well. And in many ways, like just like Vitality did in their initial buy around here, aggression towards mid, not with the same top mid smoke as the French did. Well, there he comes in a bit of a different fashion, but his end result's still very much the same, but not really that much interest from Vitality to actually take immediate mid control. So there's a bit of a timer on this aggression from NRG here. They need to back out or push forward at a certain point.
Yeah, and they also threw the double smoke down there in top mid just to build on that. So to Team Vitality, that just signals, okay, right, they've clearly gone for some heavy mid presence, right, with the aggressive top mid smoke. They don't show their hand here. Instead, it's just going to be the flat B bomb site play. Breezy, ooh, Zaiwu going to burn in his, was that his own Molotov or did he fall to his death? I don't know, but regardless, kills coming through right now for NRG, and this leaves MBK and Alex to try and do it all. Now, over towards short, Alex is the man, well, now left alone, stranded at this B-bomb site. The rest of the team watching from beyond the grave, and it's just not happening. NRG in with the 9th. It's very much a game of CT sides right now.
It definitely is. Still early days for Vitality, though. They still, you'd hope that they have more to offer, as haven't really seen what's in their arsenal. But very well held by NRG, who by no means had an ideal buy going into that. So even though the mid aggression doesn't pan out, they do fan back to position in time to deal with the B push. Sends Vitality back to pistols. Again, similar fare. Zaiwu not opting to get armor because I'm assuming he wants the op. So we did see MBK being the primary opper for the CT side, but change changed up for the T side. Nice aggressive move there from Ethan towards underpass. Nets him 2 kills. Oh, make that a 3rd as well. He's really feeling it to start off the CT side. Why not get 4th? Oh, well, that's why it gets denied by ZywOo, but you take those. One casualty. Still being able to get some bank on the side of NRG. Tarek, the only one really, I guess, on the lower scale money-wise, sitting at 3.9. We see the frag leaders for both sides.
I mean, you know, for NRG, first half we saw there was no real player stepping above and beyond the rest, right? It's here in the second half. Now, admittedly, a lot of these have been eco kills for Ethan, but it's all just confidence boosting, you know? It's all letting him get warmed up. Yeah, I mean, you can see he's looking very keen, very brave, taking a lot of these fights. Yeah, not even fights he should necessarily be winning, but he's still able to do it. We do at least have this buy back for Team Vitality. ZywOo is even going to have the AWP in hand, but he doesn't have head armor behind it, and that's going to leave him a little bit more vulnerable to these Augs.
Just that casual 1-tap to the skull. Could be the end of it. And again, NRG setting up. This time not, I guess, announcing their presence in top mid as much, and that might be why Alex is thinking about pushing forward. Might get a flash from one of his teammates as well, but it's going to be Cirque to open things up. Onto Apex.
Another.
Why not?
Cirque. Oh, he's shutting Team Vitality out of mid. Might have to try and win this fight to RPK. He's left fighting for his life, but Breezy's there to bail him out, and now MBK throwing into this 1-on-3. Certainly not the situation they'd planned for. Tarek able to dispatch of him nice and easily from the short position. And a pause called on in, and I think justifiably so. You know, coming into this Team Vitality, sporting that 9-6 lead originally. We see NRG take the pistol round convincingly, and since then, everything has come up NRG. There has been very little in terms of success for Team Vitality, really, in any of these rounds, right? They don't have anything they can look at and say, right, well,
this was working.
That worked.
Yeah,
you know, like,
no, that's very true. I mean, for the first 4 rounds, just a single player on the side of NRG died for each and every round. This was actually their most successful round in that sense, in terms of just how many eliminations they got. That's not a good sign. Again, still early days in that sense, so we do expect to see more out of Vitality's T side, but it is a bit of a worry. And I mean, as much as ZywOo is getting frags here and there, it's not netting them rounds.
I mean, you know, you say it's early days now. Yeah, okay, this game is still very, very close in terms of the score, right? But it is going to be the issue for Team Vitality. They're already coming into this being on the back foot, and now they haven't found any success. You know, when you're looking at this and you say, "Oh, well, that was our best round yet," and all you've done is get 2 kills. It's certainly not building the confidence up for you to find too much over on this T side. Just going to be the A side set piece here. Smoke's getting lined up by the rest of the gang. Push now coming through. Up from ramp. CT is held by Cirque though on that AWP. And actually, I believe they've elected to leave that open. And this has just given them a firing line. NRG barrel through those offensive smokes that go down. They take the fights and they win them out 12-9. And that set piece from Vitality also spawning no results for them in that round.
Only time Vitality has really gotten close to a bomb site has been in the pistol round. That's the one plant they've gotten. We know that it only happened really because that was a retake setup from the side of NRG. So Vitality really struggling to find their footing in this. I guess the one positive out of that round is the fact that they do manage to kill Zerk. Nobody picked up the ops, so they have to reinvest that. That's, I guess, about as good of a silver lining as you can find for Vitality right now. But off in the hands of ZywOo. And AKs galore for the rest of them. Healthy amount of nades as well. Still, though, again, it's NRG finding that opening. It's the mid aggression that's paying off for them time and time again. And in different versions as well. It's not Cirque, it's Breezy. Alex having toasty feet.
Trying to assemble this mid boost, but Breezy already posted up to deal with it. Now the trade does come through from RPK, but not quite before Breezy is able to pluck Alex from the ranks of Team Vitality, so they're able to take control of mid. The issue is that it's still a bit claustrophobic here. You've still got Tarek over on short to deal with, and they're not aware of his presence just yet. ZywOo is going to check it, and he will deal with the point man here at short. Now this B play looking to come in, but Cirque, he was a beast over at A. They've come B to try and avoid him. He's switched things up. He's kept Vitality guessing, and now they try and run the gauntlet once again. MBK dropped, and Cirque out of his mind right now. 3 kills, 2 for Breezy in that round. NRG a 13th. They are just clobbering Team Vitality right now.
They really are. The worrying part is that Vitality are not getting any closer. Not even remotely. I mean, starting to scramble my brain trying to figure out when they were last on a bomb site with the actual bomb.
And you know, coming into this, when I saw the NRGT side, I was kind of scratching my head, right? It felt like a very flat performance from them, at least initially, right? They take the pistol, they get a few rounds on the back of it, but all in all, not the most perfect half. It's the CT side where we just have seen a bit of a masterclass from the NRG guys. And it really does kind of clue you in as to why they are the favorites on this map.
Tarek might have a couple of eco frags coming his way here. He is the sole defender over towards B though, so he needs to actually get a significant amount of them as well. It's 1 down, 2 to his name. Not quite able to get that third, but does put significant damage onto RPK. There we go, Shirk showing up as always. And nice little telegraph nade from Ethan there to deal with the rest, or the one remaining Vitality member. They do get a bomb plant down, but really at this point, that doesn't really do a whole lot for you. I mean, I guess that's the closest they've been in many ways, but they still haven't gotten past a round where they've killed more than 2 players on the side of NRG.
No, I mean, even that round there, right, like, sure, you get the bomb down, but that really is the only success for you now. On the bright side, right, the loss bonus has had more than enough time to build up for Vitality. If you really want to search for a silver lining here, however, it's that. But
how far does that take you when you don't really have too many rounds to play with?
How deep down the rabbit hole do you have to go to look at that as a positive for Team Vitality?
Well, I guess they just have to deal with what they're, deal with the cards they've been given. NRG, though, just domination so far on the CT side, already sitting at 14 rounds. We do remember, though, on Overpass, they were struggling to get to that elusive match point. That's when we saw Vitality getting back into it. Needs to remain the case as well if we're going to see the French potentially taking us to a 3rd map. Right now, though, the North Americans are doing an exceptional job. No mid-aggression this time around, so finally some room to work with, at least initially, and that's going to help them as well as we find Cirque.
Ooh, and this mid play, finally Vitality are finding something. It's only Tarek and Daps remaining. Tarek tries to sneak a peek over the top of that smoke. Not quite ready for Alex down in the lower tunnels. So it leaves Daps. He's sitting bottom of the board right now for NRG. Man at the helm of this squad. Ooh, ooh. Daps down, ZywOo, 15 points of health, though he should get picked up here relatively easily. It's just how much more damage can he do? And the answer is none. So Team Vitality, a 10th round, they finally managed to thwart NRG with this mid play. They catch Cirque. I think that's the first time we've seen ZywOo best him while he's had the AWP in hand as well.
And the tempo change as well, right? Like that's the biggest difference from Vitality's play right there. Seems like NRG were not quite set for it. The question is, though, can Vitality keep that up for the remainder of the half? I'm going to go back to, I guess, the good old default.
One of the things about this Team Vitality squad is that, you know, we so often see they're usually a team that's somewhat dominated by the AWP presence in the map. Now, that really hasn't been the case here on Mirage. ZywOo does have it back in hand since swapping over to the T side. Spots out Daps down in CT, and he'll make that call. So now Smoke rains in to block Daps' position, but Ethan waits for the player to emerge through connector, and 1 by 1 in the blink of an eye, everyone's fallen. Team Vitality, they've lost everybody here. It's ZywOo suddenly asked to step up and try and clutch a 1v4, minute and 10 seconds left, so plenty of time to work with at the very least. But with the bomb dropped and NRG just sitting on it, there's going to be very little opportunity for him to find anything. And then combine that with the flank from Tarek looking to come through. That's the thing that seals the round. He's the fail-safe map point and series point for NRG, 15-10.
Everybody's just lining up for Breezy there by jungle. He just really nicely transfer there to get that 3rd kill. Completely decimating Vitality's chances of winning that round. So yeah, the tempo is fairly high on the side of Vitality, but these executes they've been attempting have done absolutely nothing. Here we see top mid smoke once again.
This time Vitality straight through it. They know that NRG have normally been pushing mid on the back of these smokes, but already they've lost MBK. Cirque will get spotted and he gets trapped in the corner there, so he gets he gets put down by MBK.
Alex though, he's on a bit of a mission.
He's down to B. Blindside the first man. Apex even dealing with Ethan down here in connector. Vitality sitting in a 3-on-2. They have to convert these. They've been struggling with it. They get the A-bomb site now. It's Daps and Tarek standing in their way.
Still smokes on the side of Vitality, so they should be able to get a bomb plant down here. Daps just waiting for Tarek to regroup. We'll see an attempt at a retake. Tarek still has a Molotov as well. Okay then, Vitality players getting caught out. RPK with the trade though.
Tarek 1v1. Apex by the skin of his teeth. Able to close that round out. 3 kills for him, the hat trick on Apex, the man who stepped up in abundance back in their T-side half of Overpass.
They're definitely going to need more of that. Well, every round could be the last one for Vitality here. Still nothing really in the way of, or no real harm done to NRG's economy for now, but this might be their last stand for some time, and that helps. Cirque connecting out to Apex, so that's the hero from the last round gone. How quickly are Vitality going to move up here?
MBK, that is a mistake. The bomb dropped right at the feet of Ethan. Breezy collapsing on in, and Alex gets finished off. It will be NRG taking the series in a 2-0 fashion. They move on forward to the semi-finals. And NRG, okay, Overpass is a bit hit and miss, but here on Mirage, a masterclass over on that CT side. Vitality falling flat when it mattered most. And that's a pretty decisive 2-0, all things considered, for the NRG guys.
Very well done, and yeah, getting a deserved round of applause from the audience as they step out of their booths. Really have to say, once that CT side got going, Ethan just being the point man for NRG. Sure, to start things off, a fair few eco frags, but again, that builds that confidence that allows him to take those extra risky kind of a peaks duels, still winning them out as well. Just driving home the victory for NRG.
And another man who goes without mentioning, Cirque had such a good game over on Mirage. Right? He's constantly switching up, constantly keeping Team Vitality guessing. You know, you saw the constant repositions. Anytime they think that they could isolate the AWP, they could look to try and avoid him. He was elsewhere. You know, we see them wherever they go. If it's B, if it's mid, you know, Cirque's there, Cirque's on the AWP, and he's just pushing and prodding, finding openers. And, you know, with ZywOo maybe struggling a little bit in the heads-to-head versus Cirque, that really did show, right? He might have been top of the board, but with Cirque just being given so much free reign to take those man advantages, to take those fights, we never really saw NRG fighting on the back foot, it felt like.
Yeah, no, for the better part of the CT side, they would always get off to a great start, finding either 1 or 2 openings and just being able to play safely from that point on. And that was, again, a lot off the back of what Cirque was able to do with that off. But ZywOo never really got into it, where he was able to stem it or just figure out kind of the patterns to you know, how Cirque was moving about on the map.
Yeah, and you know, obviously now for NRG, they're going to be moving into that semi-final spot. Yeah, I think Overpass, okay, might have been a bit of a slow start from them, but they're on Mirage. That's the NRG squad that we were hoping to see, and I think that's going to bode well for them now looking to the future. It was a bit more of a confidence-boosting game, because you do feel like, you know, that first series, very back and forth, very drawn out, both teams making their fair share of mistakes. And here on Mirage, it felt like Vitality, while they kept making them NRG, they kind of rose above that.
Oh, no, definitely. So I think you saw quite clearly towards, well, especially towards the second half, that there was one team that was clearly better than the other, and well-deserved victory just from start to finish for NRG.
Yeah, well, I think that's all from you and I believe that we have an interview standing by over on the stage. So we're going to throw, well, actually, I've just been told a little bit of a delay there with that one. That's fine. We can keep bigging this up. I mean, it's great to see, right? Because one of the things that we, I guess, not necessarily missed during the group stages from NRG, but obviously someone like Breezy didn't have the greatest of group stages, even though, again, serviceable as always. To see that the players and I guess the usual stars, the trio on the side of NRG throughout the series all stepped up, at different points of time to carry them through. That's a great sign for them going into semifinals. And they're going to be going up against, the winner of either Fnatic or North in that. I think that's a matchup they're looking forward to. Yeah, right, most definitely. I think one of the other things that we saw was Chad, I think, put a tweet out, commenting on how Breezy's been pretty quiet this year. Now, hasn't had the most amazing of starts when you look at his 2018 stats. I think you must have read that tweet, man. Because
I'm going to show you,
he's
Chad.
Like, well,
just wait for overpass.
Yeah. And, didn't necessarily translate a crossover into Mirage, but it didn't really need to, we had the other stars rising to the occasion. Yeah, we had Ethan there, we had Breezy.
Tarek as well, actually.
Tarek had some phenomenal flanks, and that actually applies to both maps. That's something that I think he has to be given credit for. He had such a good idea of where it was appropriate to take that extra aggression, where he could afford to kind of go out on a limb. Obviously, we saw it punish NRG a few times, but it definitely felt like it was working more than it was hindering them.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Especially on Mirage, I think that was there you see kind of the big difference maker it is when it actually pans out, right? Pretty much seals the deal for most of the rounds where he actually gets around. And as you said, he has a very good innate just understanding of when to push, when to get aggressive and find those openings in the Vitality defense.
I have to ask now, for NRG, who do you think the better matchup is at that Fnatic North game? Who do you think they're looking to face there?
I mean, if I have to choose, I want to go up against North simply because there's more question marks surrounding them. They had to go obviously 3-2 to make it through to the playoffs, and Fnatic just strolled on through for 3-0. So in that sense, I'm looking at North, but it's not going to be an easy task no matter who they go up against.
No, definitely not. Well, now I have received word. This interview is almost ready. We're almost ready to throw on over to it, Halvor. So I have to ask, how far do you see this NRG squad go? Do you think this is a potential team that could take this event based on what we saw today? Or?
I think they could make it to a finals. I think going up against a very on-form Na'Vi squad on the other side of the bracket might be a bit of a tough task in a finals, but still a lot of Counter-Strike to be played.
So you're already anticipating the Na'Vi going to make that final spot?
I mean, it's hard to go against the numbers and what they've been showing so far.
I mean, they've got that matchup versus Ensta. That's a pretty interesting
one
in and of
rematch.
itself, right? Yeah, we get to see that. And I think the draws, they all have a serious upset potential, and that's what makes it so interesting.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, again, right, I'm kind of pegging Na'Vi to be, I guess, an early favorite for a final spot at least. But, you can't write off Ents by any means. They've showcased that they're a top team here to stay. They're a tough opponent to deal with, whether it's just the fact that they have the solid team play, the map pool they have, gotten together. There's so many obstacles that the Na'Vi still has to go through to make it there.
And one of the other things that we can quickly talk about, we're just waiting for the interview to get set up, is this Renegade squad, right? And the run that they've had. They went 3-0 in that group stage. They're playing some of the best CS the best CS we've ever seen them
100%.
play. And so I feel like they're also contenders to potentially take this event if they can keep that form up. I think that's going to be a really interesting thing to keep track of as well.
Yeah, I mean, consider the fact that last time they were in China, they won this tournament, right? So they definitely like their time here. And I don't see, they've only gotten better since then. There's no doubt about it. Again, JKS is playing like it's 2015 again, and everybody's expecting him to join, Cloud9 or Team Liquid, that kind of a thing, right? Instead, he's doing it with the boys.
And you mentioned how, obviously they won last time they were here in China. I feel like they're, different caliber of teams attending, right? Kind of the better teams there that we saw were like the likes of VP, who they beat in the grand finals, obviously, and there were Hellraisers as well.
It's a pretty stacked field.
Yeah. But I feel like this event now is the tier above that, right? And if they're able to come here in China and they're able to rise on top and actually take it, then that would be phenomenal for them.
Absolutely.
But I've just received word. I don't know if this interview's going ahead. We're actually going to have to throw this back to the guys on the desk.
看直播的观众朋友，到了我们第一场的赛后访问的环节了。那这边让我们再次把热烈的掌声送给第一场来自 NRG 的 Breeze。好，下面由我们的专业访问的记者 Mito 为我们带来中英文的访问，来有请。
首先想要问他的是，他们战胜这么强的一个对手是什么样的感觉 ？So to start off, how are you guys feeling beating such a tough opponent, especially after their first map?
We're map, especially because this is our first tournament together with Sarek, so getting those wins under our belt are always good for us, especially this late in the tournament in the playoffs. So I know the guys are happy, so we're all happy.
他刚刚也是说到，这是他们第一次跟 Cirque 一起打一个线下赛，能够打到4强这个阶段，已经是非常不容易了。就今天战胜了，也是进到4强，然后他们当然都是非常非常的开心。那下一个想要问的问题就是，他本身在第一张图的时候杀了52个人，特别是第29回合的时候非常关键。那回合他们当时是只有小枪，然后对方是全起，他在那回合杀赢3杀，让他们能够翻盘，先拿到赛点。虽然最后还是到加时，不过当下是发生什么样的一个情况？ So for the second question, on round 29, like overall, like you had an insane overpass game, but like on round 29, you guys were buying pistols, and your opponent had like a full buy, and if they had won that round, it might have been over by that time, but you had a 3K D-gold kill. What was it like for you? What was this communication and discussion like in the team?
So the start of the round, I know we had low buy, no money, so we had to gamble. So we gamble stacked to B at the start, but we didn't hear any noise. So we just rotated and gambled A. And at that point, it's just hitting your shots and timing and luck. So luckily for me, I was able to get those shots and we won the round, so happy.
第29回合，他刚刚是说到，他们原本没有钱，他们决定就是赌了一把，然后同时他们也是全部所有人到 B 点，可发现 B 点没有任何动静，他们又回来了 A 点，然后他也是能够成功的击杀了所有的对手，就3名对手。下一个想问的问题就是他们在荒漠迷城的时候，他们是否有预料到对方会做出一些变化，比如说像 NBK 拿着狙击枪而不是给债务。So for Mirage, we saw that NBK was using the AWP on the A side, while Zaiwu was using the AUG. Was it something that you guys anticipated?
Actually, yes, we did anticipate it because our coach, right before the match, let us know all the details we needed to know to win the map. And he mentioned that NBK is the opera on this map, not Zaiwu, so we were prepared for it.
Okay. And 他刚刚是说到，他们的确是知道这件事情，因为他们在赛前的时候，教练已经跟他们说过所有对方的战术、所有的分析，所以一切都是在他们预料之中的。So last question, did you guys manage to carry over the momentum? Like, what was the 5-minute break that we had? What was the discussion within your team? You know, where you guys were able to bring all the energy into the second map?
Yeah, we maybe should have lost that map, but pulling it out definitely gave us the momentum to take it on to the second map. We were all happy, so that's good. And yeah, we just rode the momentum on this Mirage, and we took it.
刚刚也是说到，他们在第一张图的时候，他觉得他们不应该取得胜利，反而是应该这样是对方应该拿下来的一张图。不过他们的确是赢了之后也是非常开心，然后他们保持这个势态，也是能够进到第2张图，然后成功拿下2比0。So congratulations once again.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Alright.
OK， 感谢 Breeze 接受我们的访问。那良好的准备加上选手精彩的发挥，造就了他们的第一场的胜利，进入了4强。好，接下来我们把时间交还给我们的评论席。
Thank you.
OK， 那么。
Things may have started off strong there for Vitality on the first half, but their T side was absolutely abysmal. And to break this one down, I've got Pimp and Duncan joining me once again. And straight away, right, that's just not acceptable, is it?
Nah, that was a little bit disappointing for Vitality. I think we saw on the first map what the potential could be when you have Zaiwu showing up, you have Apex being that second hit guy. But when it comes into Mirage, I don't think there was any doubt who were the better team throughout this matchup. Vitality once again struggling a little bit, or a lot, I would say. And it was never really at a point where you thought to yourself, all right, this is a team that can bring this to a third map. This is a team that can pressure NRG.
Yeah, the problem I see for Vitality is their ceiling, when they hit their peak, it's not bad actually. They can have times where they look competent. The problem is they just don't hit the ceiling enough. There's not any consistency there. And even though they were playing a pretty good team in that respect, in that NRG's a little bit all over the place, they haven't quite found their own identity. NRG, they just have more good players than Vitality does. And you saw here, if you have a lot of good players, that's going to lead to some good CT halves, going to get a lot of fragging there. And that was always what was able to put NRG in the series under pressure, is the Vitality T sides just aren't consistent enough. Like, they don't have go-to things they can go with every time. like, I know people make a meme of like whoever the good player is, the in-game leader says, Ziwu, just go kill. That isn't strats. Like, you can, someone like Simple can do that because they're a genius at this game. Like, that isn't even a tactic to do that. Even when you tell Forrest to go kill people, you still set him up for it. You still have someone goes in first, you still have a flashbang that goes over, you still have set smokes that get right and the other players have learned. Some of the stuff Vitality does when they walk into these sites, I'd just really love to pause it and do that like meme, like, I'm probably wondering how you got here. What are you doing right now? Like, how do you think this is going to work? So I'm not going to go as... I think Harry maybe went over-egged the pudding a little bit, saying this was like a convincing 2-0. The first match was anything but convincing. But if you only looked at the T sides of Vitality over the series, it makes perfect sense that they lost the series. Like, best case scenario here, they were going to 3. I think they still would have lost in 3. I would have been interested to see Cash, but they lost their own map pick. They lost convincingly on this map. They're not the team that should be going on from this.
And there's some of the things here, right, when we talk about the individual ability you look out from NRG. It was moments where any player can step up, right? We saw good performances where Cert can just come out of a clutch. Breezy's able to lock it down and turn. I'm seeing where Vitality are getting the opening frag multiple times, even 2 frags, and then still dropping the round.
Normally they do. That's why I have so much belief in this team for the future as well. I think Vitality potentially could be a very good team. I don't think it's going to be this 5-man lineup. I think they will have to change 1 or 2 players in order to get there. But Saivu is very instrumental in getting their opening kills. During the major, he was the highest conversion rate guy in terms of getting the opening kills. He was always being very assertive with the AWP, always creating space for the guys around him. The problem for him and the problem for Vitality is that they don't take responsibility for it. They don't make the best out of those favorable situations he put them in, and that is a big problem.
Yeah, Zero's a stud. You see here, look, it's literally one guy with 4 surrounded by him. But the problem is, as Pimp said there perfectly, he can have a game like this. What did they lose? 64? No. It was actually, there was a cushion. The other team, if anything, if he gets a couple less kills, is a blowout. Like, this is depressing. When your guy is giving you that much, way above and beyond what you expect, you've got to then take that and parlay into a round win. That's where veterans are supposed to close the round for you. If anything, he's the best clutch player as well as the best fragger, as well as the best AWP on Vitality. What are the rest doing? Second best.
Yeah, second best at everything is not going to get you the wins you want either. When we're talking about the entry fragging there, you just see this across the board, right? Everyone at some point is going out and taking that role for NRG. Everyone's able to activate, even if the opening entry fragger does go down early on. And that's exactly what Vitality do.
There's the T side for Vitality, James. The best entry fragger got 1 entry kill.
Yes. Problems everywhere.
Yeah. Man alive.
It's just one of those things where they need to kind of rethink everything right now. And I think it's one of these losses, like, you make it to playoffs, but once again, you're not getting that step further, right? When you're going against top teams.
They got. The opponent they got was, of the teams in the round of it, one of the best you could draw. Team that's still in disarray, haven't really had any big results themselves. The bracket draw meant you had a shot to go to the fight. You're straight out in the round of it, and you get 2-0.
See if you're Vitality, what is more likely to happen, right? You have Saivu being a great top guy right now, being one of the best fraggers in the world, and potentially gonna be even better in the future. So if you want to be good, if you want to improve as Vitality, what are the chances that one of NBK, RPK, or Apex, or Alex for that matter, steps up and becomes that second star of the team? Is that more likely than you find the guy within the French scene that can step into the team and be that role? I'm just gonna Kyushima right there out. He could be, a great addition to this lineup. He could be that extra guy they need to get in there. So which one is more likely, that one of the guys that currently is not performing up to the level is going to step up, or you find a guy that already can do the job and get him into the team?
I will echo that, because the problem is, at the moment, I know what some of these guys are like in these teams. They would tell me, listen, Kiyashima has his own special personality, and he can be disruptive. Right, that's great if you've got amazing team play right now. You haven't got any team players, so I'd go ahead and say that's an upgrade right now. We'll worry about getting all the rest of the pieces in place once we have some quality pieces to play with. So if Kiyashima's available, I think just as G2 should have looked at him before, I hope Vitality really considers him.
Well, let's wait and see if they do going into future tournaments, guys. That's us done, at least for now. But we've got our next best of 3 coming right up. But if you've got any unwanted skins in your inventory at the moment, maybe you want to head to CS Money and drop them in, get some new skins, upgrade just a little bit, maybe like Vitality need to do to increase their lineup and increase their team chances here. We'll be going to a quick break, and when we come back, it's time for our second best of 3 of today.
Let's get that baguette.
Cool, right? Want to know where I got it? Well, look, go to CS.money. It's a trade platform and a marketplace at the same time. Just choose, click, and get. Good luck, bro.
I'll take that. Yes. Hells yes. Oh, armed and dangerous. Oh, hell yes.
Hellcase. Big update and new features in the case battles. Updated and convenient interface with new options. Up to 4 users can participate in one battle now. Create and customize your battles, any number and any type of cases. Choose the number of participants and invite your friends with a unique link. Watch the best drop and win everything. Don't miss epic battles on Hellcase.